All right, everybody, welcome back to episode 36, Sports with Skiz. And today we have a very special guest. Not only are we here with obviously my partner in crime, Tanaka, but we got Florida's very own Deion Moore. Deion, thanks for jumping on, brother.
What's up, man? Appreciate y'all having me, man. Appreciate y'all having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. For those of you who don't know Deion at home, we went to high school together. Phenomenal football player, has a great football mind. So he's going to be joining in with some of his takes on the college football playoff, how the season finished out. And before we get started, Knock, I just got to give you flowers on here for the work that you've been doing with social media. If you guys haven't seen TikTok, Instagram, he's putting up video after video and running up the account. So I appreciate you for that, brother. You're holding it down on there.
My guy, I appreciate the love, and for those of you who are watching, make sure that you stay tuned in, all right? Because there's so much more coming. We're not even, believe me, we're not off the ground yet.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, fellas. Well, a lot has gone on, especially in the last 24 hours. So I don't know if we should start with the playoffs or if we should talk about the debacle up in Ann Arbor. What are you guys feeling? I'm going to leave it up to you guys.
I think we can get, if Dion's all right with it, I think we can get Mr. Moore. Speaking of Dion Moore, we'll talk
Man, let's
about
get
Jerome
messy.
Moore, and yeah,
We have no ties to him. I'm not from Michigan. Before we get started here, never been a Michigan fan. I done none of that, and now I'm more of a Michigan fan. Okay.
No relation there. For those of you who are living under a rock, Sharon Moore has been fired by the University of Michigan. And at first, people were like, what's going on? What the hell? And then it came out that he had relations with, I think, an office person within athletics and supposedly got her pregnant while he has a wife and two kids at home. And it has gotten crazy. Knock, we could kick it over to you first. I know you made a video about this, so you probably have the most information on it.
yeah.
Go ahead and just lay it out.
So her name is Paige Shiver, okay, and she is a staffer for the University of Michigan. I don't specifically know what her role is. I will say something that's really, really interesting. She's super young. I think she started in 2023. Uh, Her pay increase coming into the 2025 fiscal year was at 55%. That's all Sharon Moore is doing right there. Um, yeah,
Respect. I respect that though. Sorry, we'll get to that.
Yeah, 55. She goes from like 50,000 a year to like 90 or 100K. It doesn't sound like a coincidence to me. This guy, he executed a plan. It didn't work on the field, but it certainly worked off of it. And I don't know, just Michigan is kind of in shambles at this point. Their last several coaches have just really been, I don't know what's going on. They've got something going on up there in Michigan. They must be bored.
Dion, go ahead. What are your thoughts on this?
Okay, so I didn't all the way get diving into it. I seen it come across my page today. I watched a little bit of it, but I didn't get to get too much into it. I've had a hectic day, but um, he's tripping. If I'm being honest with you, like let's just be honest here. Like in the morality of life, people make mistakes. It's okay. Like it happened. Like if this person was of age, just in the office, sat there, like he made a mistake in his life with his family. But this is where he is just completely out of line, not even using his mind. You are the coach at the University of Michigan. Like there is a lot of money getting paid to you week in and week out. You cannot go in a public setting and embarrass the university like this as this is the public figure or the mindset that you have. You guys aren't even winning football games. Like, I mean, you are, but you aren't. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, to where, like, what is your focus at? To where it's just completely like, it was immature. It was immature.
We know
Yeah.
where his focus was. We know where his focus was.
We definitely
Off the
see that.
field.
Some of the craziest things that I've seen. So I don't know if you've seen, there's a video like circulating on Twitter where I think he was at like a soccer or lacrosse game and they panned to him to show that he was like showing support. And who's next to him?
Hmm.
This chick, Paige, is right next to him. And then I scroll down a little bit further and I see a picture someone took at the university of them walking across the street together. And then I'm like, bro, this is where it gets crazy. And I wish Elon, one thing I want him to fix with X is the auto refresh. I can't stand it. I lost one tweet and I'll get to that later, but this is from a Michigan State burner account. It's at not Connor Cook 18. This was posted on December 1st. He said Sharon Cheater Moore got a staffer pregnant and is soon to be fired. Pound sign Cook said it first. That was on the 1st of December. And then I saw a guy who used to play for Michigan. Don't really know if he touched the field much, but he tweeted, I think on the second or third, basically how Michigan has been trying to cover up and hide this story.
Yeah.
And then it's like all the dominoes fell. I saw something about
That's
him. I don't
insane.
know. I don't know if this is credited as well too, but he like supposedly like ordered plan B to like come to the facility. Again, I don't know if that was just a troll or not, but I seen that. That was crazy. And yeah, I lost that tweet by the former player due to an auto refresh, so I wish that would get fixed. But some of the things that I'm seeing are nuts. And then I think did you guys see he was arrested as well then
For what?
afterwards
Yeah, he was arrested.
for
Yeah.
go ahead, Knock.
Yeah, he was arrested for I think he threatened to kill himself in front of his wife, and I think he held a mistress, the girl he got pregnant, you know, with a knife, you know what I mean? Held her
Yeah.
at knife point or whatever the case is. So
And because I was laughing, I need to interject. There's nothing funny about that by any means. That's wrong. But I will say this. He went to desperate measures to try to keep his job or
Oh
something.
my
He
God.
looked at
Yeah.
it like I'm gonna claim insanity or something
Mm.
because but at that point, let's be honest, like you were at events with her. This isn't a high school event for your local 10-0 basketball team, okay? You're at the University of Michigan, bro. Like, people are coming by the thousands, hundreds of thousands. There's boosters here. You're on a national platform. If you're going to move with such, I don't careness, I guess I could say, at least go the proper steps to be like, hey, I divorced my wife. I did this, that, and the third. You can't embarrass a university when you're at such a leadership spot in the university.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like he just was at the point of no return. He was a scared man and wanted to like risk it all, I guess, to where I think you should just own up to it and take it on the chin,
He's
pause.
been
But
in a
like,
good spot.
yeah, like I don't know. It's crazy to see. I did see. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the players in Michigan. I'm trying to look for it again here. I can't see who exactly it was, but I think a four-star tight end already got his release from Michigan after signing. So he's going to be open. I'm sure there's going to be more players that'll look to opt towards the portal or get out of their release. And then yeah, this was the video right here. I don't know if you guys could see it. This was the video they were showing him and the chick
yep,
on the Big Ten Network,
yep.
which is wild. But yeah, at the end of the day,
In
bro, you got to be a
4K.
man. You gotta own up to it. You got to take it on the chin. I mean, is it damaging to your reputation? Yes, but you also made your wife look like a fool. You made the University of Michigan look like a fool, like you said, Deion, and
You
they
were at
just can't.
events with her.
Yeah,
Don't
like
now all of a sudden you're gonna jump off the bridge and you were at events with her. Now God, let's not get suicide awareness and stuff like that seriously. Like that's a big thing. But come on, man. Like you now all of a sudden the sky is falling, but 2 weeks ago you were taking her to prom. Like, come on,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens next. I made kind of a joke and said that Michigan should hire Brian Kelly because um, he's had no incidents or scandals at his universities. If you guys understand what I'm saying, that's not true. So, and I can't stand him. So we'll see. I don't know who they're going to go after. I saw someone say maybe Kalen DeBoer. I don't know how true that is. I also saw a couple funny videos and tweets of like Lane Kiffin seeing Kalen DeBoer at the job interview, and they're like giving each other the suit or the Batman what's up at the end of the movie. So there's a lot of funny shit out there about it.
College football got hectic with head coaches this year. It was insane. It came from all angles.
Oh yeah, probably the craziest
I've
coaching
ever seen.
carousel. Yeah, that we've ever seen, to be honest. And I don't know if it'll ever be like this or if it continues to go with the way that
The
money is
NIL.
going.
Yes.
And not only that too, I saw a thing. Let me see here. I got to try to find it real quick. I can't remember if I tweeted it from our account or my personal, but I did. Oh yeah, so this was a tweet that was a couple of days ago on the 9, 2 days ago. Ross Dillinger. He does a really good job of reporting college athletics for Yahoo Sports. It looks like in groundbreaking endeavors, the University of Utah Athletics is entering into what could be a $500 million equity partnership with Otro Capital. So basically, shared ownership of the for-profit athletics, I guess. So I am not a fan of that. I think that's going to hurt the sport further. I'm not tied into it 100%, but if you're then treating it like a franchise in like the NFL or professional sports, I think it could get even messier.
And no, I don't want to okay, I don't want to just dive into the conversation like it's just about me. So, Knock, I want you to get your input on it too. But just briefly about it, I think it's going to help to a degree in the sense of this. If you can structure it, in my opinion, college football is in anarchy right now because there's no contracts. Now, I'm not saying you can contract a person. You don't even know what he's done in this, that, and the third. But a person can go get paid, from my understanding at the moment. You can go play for the University of Ohio State this year, go get paid $3 million, and then next year, if I want to transfer to Illinois, go get paid another $4.2 million, and then this, that, and the third. It's just the wild, wild west. I do think things could get better with it if you take an NFL format in the degree of you're stuck here if you sign here. There is
Mm-hmm.
no certain movements, or there has to be a grace period because it's like free agents every year. It's ruining college football.
Yeah, yeah, it's joining college football, but like anything, there's their pros and their cons. The pros are, Nevada's head coach. You were saying it to me the other day, bro. He likes the challenge of like, okay, listen, we're Nevada. We'll never be that program that goes to win a national championship, but what we can do is we can help develop players. We can get players to a point where they can go to Ohio State and get paid, or go to Arizona State and get paid, and things of that nature. So, yeah, I think schools like Nevada it's funny because they're like almost turning into pipeline schools for bigger universities and kids who needed to start at a JUCO. And so it does offer a lot of opportunities and a lot of advantages. But again, there's so many disadvantages to college football. I mean, you can't build a program, you can't contain and keep a dynasty. You can, like you said, Deion, you can pay somebody $2 million a year, and then they can go walk, and if they want to make 1.3 or 2.3, whatever the case is, elsewhere, they can do that. And now we're at a single point now where these kids are getting paid in college. They don't really have the same type of incentive to go to the NFL. It's just not the same. If you look at quarterback Baron Morton for Texas Tech, I mean, I'm sure, going to the NFL is probably a dream of his. However, he's getting paid so much money. He's got his house, he's got his ranch, and he said that he would like to be a farmer one day. He's very content. He's got all the money in the world to live that kind of life. And just kind of depends on the person, and who you are. It's funny because, I think about TV shows like Blue Mountain State, and how a quarterback like Alex Moran would make so much money if NIL was a real thing today. This guy just loves staying in college. You know what I mean? So that's what's going to happen, though. Kids are not going to want to go pro. Like I said, you're not going to want to rush to become a pro as a junior. The second you're eligible, and to each their own, everybody's going to be different, but so many advantages and disadvantages to the portal. We're still trying to figure it out. And the portal is not just for athletes, it's for coaches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think I do like the fact that if you're a junior and you're projected late round picks, why not come back and try to up your draft stock where you could make more, probably depending on where you're at and who you are, you could make more in college than on a rookie deal. I look at what was Texas's quarterback last year? Sam Ellinger. I'm messing up his name.
No,
I don't know why it's off the
Quinn Ewers.
Quinn Ewers.
Yeah,
I don't know why I'm thinking of that, but that's a guy that I thought would, Texas didn't want him back, but I guarantee there'd be other programs. And now he, I think he was a late round pick, undrafted free agent.
He might have made $3 million in the college this year again.
Right. Yeah, and got a chance to, show what he was about coming into last year, even though it was a little bit of a down year. So we shall see next year. I do believe this upcoming offseason, they are doing the revenue sharing. So each I think it might run into all conferences, but I know for a fact power conferences as the Big 12, SEC, ACC, and Big 10, they're going to have revenue sharing essentially. So they're going to all have like a roster cap that the schools could
I
put
was
towards the
just
players.
going to say
And then,
this.
yep, and then they could get NIL like on their own and everything. So I think it's broken down by positions how much they can make, but I think altogether it's pretty much around like 22 million, something around, along those lines, somewhere around there. I think it's different, but
You have to salary cap it. There's no way around it. There's no
mhm.
way around it in the sense of this. Um, and I don't want to get too off topic, but baseball. Let's talk about the World Series. Consecutively, the top teams are the same top teams year in and year out. The Dallas Cowboys, who are the greatest team to ever walk on the field. We're just going to leave it out there. But point of the matter is this: we bought all of our Super Bowls. We bought all of them. We bought all of them because we could pay the most money because we add the most money to the best players and could take them all. When you put the salary cap on us, we make the joke that we haven't been to the Super Bowl in how long? 29 years. But it's the truth. The it's not a coincidence that the salary cap got put on right about 29 years ago, right in that area, to where there has to be a salary cap in the NIL and the college football program, or you're gonna run into a situation where it's okay for the same national champions. We've always had that, but then it's just gonna get outlandish. Like whoever
Mhm.
has the biggest money is always gonna win, and you can't have that.
Yeah.
You can't have
Absolutely, absolutely. I like that. And with that being said, we'll move on. Talk a little playoffs here. I really want to see how you guys think of the rankings, the teams that got in versus the teams that didn't. So just going down the line here for people who didn't see it, Indiana got the 1 seed, Ohio State 2, Texas Tech or Georgia 3, Texas Tech 4, and then our first round matchup, Oregon got a home game against James Madison. Ole Miss got a home game against Tulane. Texas A&M got a home game against Miami, and Oklahoma got a rematch and a home game against Alabama. If I'm just kicking it off here, I really don't like that Alabama got in, and I kind of hate that BYU was the only team out of them, those two, that kind of laid an egg in the championship, and BYU fell completely out, which I understand. I could see that, but Bama didn't move a spot and they looked terrible, like really bad. Could not run the ball. The offense looked out of sync. They're dropping passes left and right. The defense looked okay, but Georgia, I mean, just
just dominated.
basically dominated them. So that one I didn't really understand. I will go to bat here for Notre Dame real quick, and then I'll kind of turn it around once we talk a little bit more. I do think Notre Dame should have been in over Alabama, and I do like that Miami got in because I wanted Miami in. I talked about that last week. But I'm also, not a Notre Dame fan, so it doesn't hurt me that bad. It's funny seeing all their fans freak out, but I do like that. And then one last thing that I'll say that's probably, I don't think it's necessarily in the, I don't think it's the majority, but I also don't think there's a lot of people who think like this. I think it's pretty even keel down the line, but I do like that group of 5 teams can get in. I know people don't like that. They say it's a blowout all the time, but you never know what can happen. I mean, there was a year where Tulane beat USC whenever they had Caleb Williams in a BCS Cotton Bowl game. So anything could happen. I think for the people who say that they shouldn't be allowed in the playoffs, then they might as well just create another sector where I guess they get their own playoffs. But that's why we have Division one AA, two, three, and then NAIA, and so on and so forth. So with that, I will let you guys take it over, Knock or Deion, if you want to go
Go
ahead
ahead,
and give
knock.
your
Take off,
information.
knock, because you know I got a little bit of long wind for this one.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with Mike, and I don't believe that Alabama should have made it. Um, I'm also a firm believer in in group of 5 teams making it as well. Now, should 2 group of 5 teams have made it? Maybe no,
That's the
probably not. And then it just comes down to which one of those 2 teams should have made it. Who was more deserving, James Madison or Tulane? Um, Tulane obviously played the tougher schedule. Um, you know, they play. It doesn't mean much because a lot of people didn't like it. But Duke, 8-5, they won the ACC championship game. They're like, oh, they're only. You win your conference championship games, got to count for something somewhere as far
They
as
had no
the
business
schedule
being
goes.
there. All the ACC teams that should have been there lost. But sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. It's just really all about the timing of certain shit, and when you're when you're losing and when you're winning. You know what I mean? Duke came on strong there at the end of the season. They had that big win versus Clemson. You know, they really didn't deserve to make it, but they did make it, and
They did.
they beat a Virginia team, which, by the way, Duke is a much since 2012 has been a much better football program than Virginia. It's actually not even close. Virginia is under 48, 45% win
I
percentage.
really liked Virginia's quarterback this year, though. I
Yeah,
really was a big fan of what was his name? Morris. What was his name? Chandler Morris. I
yeah,
was a big fan of him. He
yeah.
let me down in that game a little bit, but it
Yeah.
wasn't just him. But go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you.
So you know, I think Duke should have been in there. I just believe if Power Four conference winner, like, listen, it's not Duke's fault they made it. Somebody put them in. They did what they needed to do. I think they should be dancing right now. With that being said, yeah, I like these group of five teams. Like you said, Mike, Tulane beat USC just a couple of years ago. You know, if you want to go all the way back to Boise State upsetting Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl all those years ago on the you know the hook and ladder play and hit him with the
Statue of Liberty.
like, bro, that's what Boise State
That
right
is,
in that game
that
wouldn't
is what
be.
bowl games are about, but I'm going to debate you a little bit and cut you off to where, in the sense of this, let's also not mistake that bowl games are also treated as bowl games. They're, when we were growing up, and when the times have changed now, but a bowl game is treated different than a playoff game. You're still playing for a national championship.
Well,
You're playing for this
But
to where that's still kind of, there's a give and take there. There's a give and take there.
I'll say real quick, Knock. I'll say, and I was kind of explaining this to my wife as well too. I will say, I think a BCS bowl game was played almost as if a national championship, just
It
because of like
was.
the high
It
regards it
was.
was held to, and the money that you get for winning those games and the notoriety. Like, look at Boise State; they weren't anything before that, and then they started getting better recruits, better head coaches,
That
better
changes things. You're right.
developments.
You're right about
So
that.
that's the only thing I'll say back then is like we didn't have players opting out to not play in those games. You know, like Adrian Peterson and them were still playing in
They
those
were
games
playing in
as
those
well.
games. That was a different
So
time.
yeah, but I hear what you're saying. I do hear what you're saying.
That's kind of what I'm getting to where I don't want to get too carried away in the sense of like, we're still preying on a Cinderella story, which congratulations to them. They worked hard. But it's still a Cinderella story. We didn't think Florida Gulf Coast that year in the March Madness tournaments was really going to win the national championship. We were just happy they were there.
Right, right. No, and you're right about that, you know, dude. And I think I'll go back to what Mike said. You know, when we were growing up before 2014, before they created this bracket, this college football playoff atmosphere and how big it is, and it just became the four best teams are battling it out for the chip. Um, I think we did lose sight, and I think the younger generation doesn't really know. Like, bro, like he said, you know, you could go to the Cotton Bowl and it wasn't the national championship game, but by gosh, you're Washington and you're ranked 12th in the nation and you're playing,
Coming to play.
you know, Alabama in the Cotton Bowl. You know what I mean? So the national championship game, I said it to you the other night, Deion. I mean, the Rose Bowl
Was everything at a point.
another. There was the national championship game, but the Rose Bowl, you win the Rose Bowl, that's serious shit. You know what I mean?
In Sicily, it was its own national championship.
It
It
felt
was different.
it felt like that, you
It
know.
was different.
And it is. And these guys are Cinderellas, you know, and James Madison's not supposed to go through a gauntlet, win the first round on the road, then go on the road or, I guess a neutral site in essence in the second round. But so I think that's what makes it cool. But also, like, you're totally right, bro. These are Cinderellas and they're happy to be there.
I think one should have got in. I don't think all should have got in. I think one should have got in. I get the group of five thing, but at the same time, it gets a little outlandish because of this. I do agree to the point that, hey, Duke wasn't supposed to be there, but Duke got there and they won. You know who I don't think should be in the playoffs, genuinely? First off, I don't think Notre Dame should have made it, and I'm going to make my strong case for that. But you know who else I don't think should have made it? Miami. And I'm a Miami fan, and I'm going to call this for what it is. Listen, man. And you know who I think should have made it? And if anybody has a laptop, which I don't, I need you to pull up two teams from me. I need you to pull up Vanderbilt. That's the first team I think should have made it over Miami. It's just too many SEC teams. And I want to look at Texas' schedule as well, because if we're going to excuse Alabama to make it, that's a three-loss team as well, who was the hottest team in football, in my opinion, on the back half of college football. But listen, man, you can't put a Miami two-loss team who lost to a SMU, and when you lose is important in my opinion. Miami was locked short in to go to the ACC championship. You lose to an SMU the week before. You also lost to a Louisville who was hot. I'm not gonna lie when you lost to them, but it doesn't change the matter of we look at the end of the season and they were not that good to end their season. That's just the facts. To where man, we squeak you in over a two-loss Vanderbilt. Who? What was Vanderbilt's two losses? Texas, who they were getting blown out, but still came back in the game and lost 34-31, and then lost to who? Bama or Georgia?
Bama.
Bama,
Bama.
who beat Georgia, which and I'm gonna. You're not gonna like me for this, Mike. You're not gonna like me for this. I think Bama should have squawked in the playoffs. I think Notre Dame should be out and Bama should have squawked in because of this reason, and Miami should be out. If we're going to argue, and sorry, Knock, I did not mean to cut you off. You just led me in a little bit, and I felt it to where I got to get this off my chest. Notre Dame, you can't play the 46th, 45th ranked strength of schedule in the nation, one behind Miami, who also had the 44th, not play in the conference championship, and try to use another person's conference championship loss, who is one of the best teams in the nation, against them, and they already beat them. You can't do that. So if we're going to compare, this is unfair, but in my opinion, in my mind, which works as nothing, fairness, two-loss versus two-loss, because you don't play in the conference championship. Alabama's two losses, even though they lost to an FSU, with their strength of schedule and their wins, gives me a little bit more grace than your terrible schedule, Notre Dame, and you lost to the only two contenders you played against, Miami and Texas A&M. I can't give you that grace. You don't even play in a conference championship. Miami, you lost in horrible times, and yeah, you beat Notre Dame, but you beat nobody else. Why do you get in over 10-2 Vanderbilt, who has the same schedule record as you? Who played Alabama, who played Texas, who played these SEC tough teams, to where I feel like Vanderbilt got snubbed, Miami got slid in, and Notre Dame should have been in, but they're being punished for who they are. Go make a choice and go get to a conference. Go show me.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, one more second.
No, you're good.
Play the toughest schedule in the nation, arguably.
Yeah.
And then show me why you deserve to be there.
Yeah, I respect that. And I think I would be a little bit more okay if BYU still made it, same way with Alabama. And the only thing that I think should be different, I guess, aside from the ACC just giving the two schools, but
Texas Tech, though.
They did, but they only had two losses, right? And both times they were top 5 teams in the nation.
They were, though. That's hard to argue.
Basically on the road, because they played at Texas Tech, then they played them in Jerry World. And I think that if you make your conference championship game, both of those teams in the Power Four, I believe, should be in.
I agree. When you get to those moments and you get to the conference championship and you're a top team in the nation, we need to have a discussion on they just played another top team in the nation. Bama looked bad, but Bama was also playing a team that they beat earlier in the season who's already a rival at that, and then they met them in the conference championship. That's going to be a tough game for them. Like, go ahead, Knock. I hear it.
Yeah, Bama shouldn't have made it. If you really take a look at it, Bama was cool. It was nice. It seemed like they were back. Defense was dominating, but this is the harsh reality about the Alabama Crimson Tide. Let's talk about their last 4 weeks. Okay.
Right.
3 weeks prior to the conference.
I try to piggyback off you, Mike, because I agree, but he's right. He's right.
They lose to Oklahoma.
Which was a by the way, real quick, they blow out Oklahoma by 2 touchdowns. They had a 4 turnover game. 2 was in the red zone and lost by 3 points.
Right.
They beat Oklahoma, but I agree. They've been playing bad football, but I'll let you get your points. I agree.
Their next game is Eastern Illinois. Okay. So that's not going to help you after a loss when you beat them. It just does nothing for you. It shouldn't. Then you play Auburn in the Iron Bowl, and it's the Iron Bowl. I get it. It's a rivalry game. Auburn could be a 2-win team. Bama could be undefeated, and they're still going.
And it could still be a tough game. That's one thing people are taking away from that.
I understand that. 27-20 win. and then you get smoked in the conference championship game. So 3 out of your last 4 games, 2 are losses. 1 is versus an FCS program, and you struggled versus Auburn, who was a 2-win team.
Which, by the way, real quick, I was talking crazy on you guys' stream about Georgia looking bad against Georgia Tech and went and Alabama could beat
Kirby
them.
saw that. Kirby saw it.
Steamrolled their ass.
Yep.
Steamrolled
He
them.
had it on
So
bulletin
just
board.
to get that off my chest, go ahead, knock my bad.
And like I said with that game, that was just a game like Georgia really had no business. There's no
I'm
point. You know what I mean?
unimpressed. I'm impressed again.
So there was no point for them to play. They were coasting versus Georgia Tech. That's why their
It's
offensive
coasting,
numbers
yeah.
were so low. You know what I mean? They just wanted to get to that point. And I also knew that they would want to, this would be a game where Kirby Smart wanted to get over that hump and beat the Crimson Tide for the first time in I think the last 3 meetings or whatever the case may be. So yeah, I don't think Bama should be in there. I think that's a crock of shit, but I agree. I agree, Mike. I think BYU can definitely be in there, and again, I think Duke should as well. Just because they were given that opportunity, they shouldn't be penalized because they were put in the conference championship and did.
They put in the conference championship. I watched what's it called? Make it last year, Arizona State.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, and one thing I'll say is funny that's coming out of all of this is just hearing Notre Dame bitch and moan right now online.
Oh my God! They opted out of a bowl game. How soft? How about you opt into a conference?
I know that's what everybody's saying too, and it's funny that they're like athletic directors coming out and is like the ACC did irreputable damage to our relationship. It's like, bro, do you want them to vote and basically give you guys a boosting, or a team that's actually in their conference? Like all your other sports are in the ACC. You're not. Like if you joined us, okay, we'd make a point for both of you guys then, but we're gonna back Miami and not you guys. And then I saw too the committee. Yeah, same here. And I saw that the committee came out and said basically if Notre Dame is ranked in the top 12 at the end of the year, they get an automatic in.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Why are you the only exemption? Excuse me, that is bullshit. They deserve punished, and I'm glad the college football did this. I'm glad the college football decided to spit in their face so much. We'll put Tulane and James Madison in there. And I like Notre Dame. I've never been a Notre Dame hater. I have no biasness towards them of like the teams I like. But it's bullshit. You don't get to play an average ass schedule. I don't think Miami should be in. I think their schedule is average. But you don't get to play that shit, not playing a non-conference, and think you just get to, because we're top 12. I miss me with that. Miss me with that because Vanderbilt deserved to be ranked over you. Stop it. Stop the bullshit. Fucking crybabies.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right there, but I will give you correct. I do think Vanderbilt somehow, some way should have found their way into the tournament.
They have a Heisman on the team. They have a Heisman. I didn't even think about that. They have a finalist on their team. If he's that, I'll tell you this, my opinion. Sorry. If you have played that well, you do deserve a little bit of grace. To where he put him in the rankings like that. He's a Heisman finalist. Let's see him in the playoffs.
And they tried to schedule a game last week too, but I think NCAA wasn't allowing it.
Come on. I want to see it. The nation wants to see it. Sorry, Knock.
Yeah, no, you're good.
I'm fired up about Vandy. I'm a Vandy guy right now. If you
can't tell. Let it fly, baby. Let it fly.
I'm fired up.
Diego Pavia he is that good. He's electric, and you do want to see him. You don't want to see him playing in the Pinstripe Bowl. Unfortunately,
you want to see him battle against Oregon. You want to see him battle against Ole Miss again.
Right. And I think that's because of. Listen, they let Bama in because it's Alabama. They left teams like BYU and Vanderbilt out because they're BYU and Vanderbilt. You know what I mean? So I don't really know what the thought process is of the committee, who these people are, why, and how they're selected, what the criteria is. I mean,
they don't even know.
3 guys.
I don't know.
You're talking to 3 guys here who have been playing and watching football since they were 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. You know what I mean? And to sit there and tell me that I can't who can't decipher like, okay, who we think should be, that's ridiculous, So I don't know how these people are chosen. It's like free. They think it's a freaking game, you know what I mean? And to people like us, it's not a game. We love the game, you know what I mean? And so yeah, it's weird, man. It's so many different dynamics.
They got a little bit to work on with the college football players. It's playoffs. It's almost tweaked though. It's almost there in my opinion.
Yeah,
Almost. Just a
yeah.
little bit more to work on. I will say this, man. My opinion, the NIL, like we were just saying before it all happened, the NIL has only elevated, not only, excuse me, I'm wrong for that, but it's elevated the SEC and the Big Ten so much that they're the only two conferences I want to see in the playoffs. If I'm being honest, as ignorant as that sounds, I don't. Come on, Mike. Let's be real, man. Let's be real here. I know you. I've known you
Nah.
since we were babies. Tore ACLs on the same field together. All this nonsense. We were playing football. The fact of the matter is this. I know you're an underdog guy and you like things like this. You don't want to see Tulane, and we should get to the games after this, but you don't want to see Tulane walk into Ole Miss. You don't want to see James Madison walk into Oregon. You don't want to. You love it. You enjoy it for the camaraderie of football and the spirit, but you don't want to see that massacre. I loved
No.
SMU last year. I think if they don't go up to Penn State in freezing cold weather like that, I think it changes things. I do think SMU was one of the rare occasions last year, but we seen them get blistered. Neither one of these
It's
two teams could beat that SMU team, in my opinion.
I mean it's any given Saturday for the most part. I don't know. I'm
I
not for
agree to a
I more
degree.
so think college football realignment is what fucked up a lot of college football. It elevated some
What do you
programs
mean?
while brought it down. Just conference realignment, like all the teams leaving the
Yeah,
Pac-12, going to
yeah,
the Big
yeah. We
Ten,
were just saying that. Yeah,
ACC,
that's bullshit.
the removing of in-conference conferences, I think fucked it up a little bit as well too.
Yeah.
And I think TV deals come into play because ESPN basically owns the SEC in that partnership. Why aren't they going to promote them more than they promote any other conference? So I'm more of the traditionalist.
Ooh.
I miss the way that things used to be with college football. I do love the playoff, but get me back to the Pac-12. Take me back to the Big
I
East if
agree.
you
I
can.
agree to
Make
that.
it regionalized. Like it's just so annoying seeing like Washington and Oregon in the Big 12. Like the Big 12 is, or Big 10, excuse me, that's Midwest football and East Coast football. The Pac 12 was Pac 12
West
football. Let
Coast,
them tear
yeah.
each other apart. Like it just is something that's the only thing that I don't agree on that's basically happening. I'm an underdog guy, like you said. I root for the underdogs. I would love to
Always did.
see
Always
JMU
did.
walk in and beat Oregon. Is it a few and far between? Absolutely. But I do like how it is. The people who talk about like the group of four or group of five, whatever it is, shouldn't be in the playoffs. That's where I'm like, I just don't agree because then you're just basically making a whole nother subdivision of Division I football in a sense. So it's like, I
The
don't know.
12
That's
best
just
teams, though. But I will say this, in my opinion. Let's look at, do me a favor, please. Pull up James Madison's schedule.
their only losses to Louisville. I know that on off the top. That was, I think, the only
It is.
basically
It is. It is.
power our conference team that they played.
They played, Mike. That they played. I agree, but in my opinion, to be that conference, that league, that like you're not really playing anybody. You have to beat Louisville, and then we talk about you in the playoffs. You have to win that game. You and Tulane, same situation. The only real team they played was Ole Miss, and then they lost to UTSA. Like you don't get to have those two losses and just win a conference, but your schedule is they're probably ranked 110th in the nation in the schedule, and then get to make it to the
They
playoffs.
But I will say they get boosted a little bit though too in my eyes. Like they beat a Big Ten school, they beat an ACC
They
school. They
beat
did
Duke.
get
They beat Duke,
yeah, and they beat Northwestern too. Who Northwestern,
right?
we obviously laugh at, but they kept it close in a lot of games.
Hey, they're
Especially
a big school.
they should have beat
Northwestern could play.
Michigan.
They've been ranked before in the top 15 before. So like,
Yeah, yeah. So it's the only other thing. Let me see. I think I had JMU. I was looking at common opponents for one thing. I don't know if they played against JMU. Yeah, so JMU also played against Washington State as well too. Got that win. I know that they're not really in a power
No.
conference.
We
I
were
know
just
that they
talking
just
about
played
them. No,
against Ole Miss.
Washington State is we've known about what we didn't know about JMU. We've known about Washington State for damn
I
near
knew
our whole
about
life.
JMU because I'm a
You
sicko. I'm just a
I'm
sicko.
about to say, Mike, you don't count. You and Naka do not count about what you know. You guys are bringing up the Slippery Rocks quarterback from 1972. Okay, so where that's not the principle of the matter is this. Man, I don't want to discredit their wins because then I sound like I don't care about what college football stands for. But I don't want to glorify the nonsense wins either. That's where I kind of stand. Because I'm going to hold on to Vandy. There's Vandys of the world that have real wins. Not just I played contemporary against a solid opponent. No, I went and beat them. That's kind of where I stand at, to where the whole top group 5 thing, I'm okay with one of them. We're doing too much by entertaining too many of them. We're doing too much.
Yeah, I have a slight gripe too because I didn't pay attention to this. Deion, you said it a few minutes ago. I forgot Ole Miss played Tulane.
We beat the crap out of them. Beat about 35.
I mean, yeah, what is the committee thinking with that one? Like, let's just match them up again.
Man, I like Tulane's coach. I love the fire he was talking about when they were talking about their top 25, and he was like, top 25? There's times I think we're the worst in the nation. I respect that fire. But what the hell are we doing here?
Yeah, that's I didn't really dive deep into that one. Yeah, somebody else definitely could have replaced.
Or I think the seedings could have been flip-flopped too with Oregon and Ole Miss as well. Because I think Ole Miss could have made a potential for the top 5 as well.
Damn right, Ole Miss was good.
Ole Miss was good this year. Yeah. Hey, I've said it on the podcast before. It is hard to beat a team twice, so just because you lose by 35 doesn't mean you lose by 35 again. They might play a little bit tougher, but hey, Ole Miss has a lot of drama going on right now, man. And
I agree to that point. I was going to get into that, and I literally was going to lead me to my next question. How do you feel about the Ole Miss and Tulane game with so much drama going around with Lane Kiffin not being able to coach?
Well, they're putting their defensive coordinator, Pete Golding, as the head coach from this point forth. This is a guy who's coached in the SEC for 10 years. He's coached alongside Nick Saban and his defenses for multiple years. So this is a guy that I'm pretty sure at some point when he accepted the job as a defensive coordinator, he knew that this could potentially be a specific outcome. And he said in his press conference, I'm ready. This is why I'm here. Lane Kiffin's a funny guy. He's allowing the coaches that he took with him to go back and finish their season and go win it all, boys. So I thought that was pretty funny, which, I guess rightfully so. But
He's a prima donna.
Discrepancies with that type of move, and I
love it.
It should be done when the season's over, So Ole Miss will be fine. I'm actually rooting for Ole Miss because they are now an underdog to me because of just situation. They're already a team that made it there with a guy who was a Division II quarterback last year in Trinidad Chambliss. The kid was amazing this season. He's
playing really good this season. He's playing really good.
So they've got Kewan Lacey, a 20 touchdown scorer for them. He's top 10 in rushing in college football. So this is a team that is going to make a sleeper run, towards a national.
I think so too.
Now, I will state, I'll move over real briefly because I've been talking a lot. Oregon's not starting Dante Moore. They already said that they were going to sit him. He's not going to play. They're going to rest him.
Are you sure, Knock? Are you talking about that tweet that you quoted? Are you looking at me right now just because I'm not looking at it? Did you see what I sent you and texted you?
I don't know what's going on, but now
I think Knock got ball sacked again. And if you don't know what that means it's a troll Twitter account that
And he
tweets
free
stuff.
posted it. What a goofy.
I sent it to him.
Oh my
What did I
gosh. You better
say?
start adding
That's
rocks
why
or
you
whatever
said
it's
no.
called.
That's why you said no.
Yeah, I sent it to him. I sent him his quoted tweet and said no with like 6 exclamation marks. And it was from I think this was the same page that got you before. It's 274
Yo,
Sports.
the 274 looks so official. It
It does.
looks so
It
official.
does look like an
It
official for
gets
those who are watching.
everybody.
But this is where I say tread lightly. If you're not sure, make sure you go to the profile. But for those who don't know, it says breaking Oregon quarterback Dante Moore will sit out the first round of the college football playoff against James Madison. Sources say Moore and the staff agreed he should begin to prepare for round two, with the program believing the opening matchup is a bye game based on internal evaluations. And the most fucked
Damn
up thing
that.
about it, the most fucked up thing about it is they will put via and then in parentheses, just like the real ones do, the person that they get it from. And it looks like real basketball, or it looks like real Twitter people, and it's like Drew Longwood at Drew Longwood CBB. The funniest part about that guy who they quote or they tweeted and said gave him the sources, he has a Duquesne basketball logo as his thing. So shout out the Dukes here in Pittsburgh. But I thought
Drew
I thought
Longwood.
I should have said something more just because you didn't really respond to that.
Yo.
And
They might as well though. That's the point we're getting to. Like we have accounts trolling saying that it's a bye week. Like I genuinely my comment on the game as far as this specific game of the first round, take the over. Not really, but all joking aside, they're about to
James Madison
fight
is going to
today.
cover. James
Okay.
Madison is covering.
I mean, I don't know what the spread is, so the spread's probably 50. The spread's probably 108, so I would assume they would cover. But they're about to
I do
beat those
think
guys.
JMU could cover too. I think out of them and Tulane, I think they have the better shot. And their fans on Twitter are hilarious. I think there was one guy who tweeted out a statistic about Dan Lanning facing teams with purple and gold colors and how he's under 500. So they just make the most crazy tweets,
That's
and even
funny.
Oregon fans are loving it. The one guy from Oregon was like, if JMU football plays as well as their fans do on Twitter, then we should be in a worry situation. But
That's funny.
one thing too about JMU that I will say, they have been just at the top. They're not technically at the top of Division One, but D1 AA, they were successful, and now D1, they are very successful, and they're making it it's almost like we knock and Deion, you guys said it about Nevada and how these lower group of five teams are basically like stepping stones. If you want to get a power conference coaching job, you go to JMU. It's happened to their past two coaches. And one thing I will say is don't be shocked if in the next, I'd say 10 to 15 years, I know that seems like a while to go by in an instant, but they are probably going to be in a power conference just because of their history, and they're also renovating their stadium. I don't know if you've seen their stadium. It's one of the best group of fives that they have. And the one side is fully double deck, and the other side is just one little row, basically. But they're building onto that.
It's like a high school stadium on that little side.
Yeah, exactly. But they're building onto it, so they're putting a lot more money into football. It's their main source of revenue, obviously. So watch out for the Dukes within 10 to 15 years, moving to an ACC, a Big 12, whatever it may be, and being up there with these big name programs.
I really like their track record as a program because they're a program that every time they've walked into a conference, they've come to dominate, and they've gone up and up and up, and they've dominated. And they walked into Division One. Me and you were talking about this the other day. We were talking about how we were debating on how long they've been in there, and I was like, bro, they've only been in there for a couple of years because I was just coaching high school football a couple of years ago, and I took some of my kids down to JMU for a visit to where that was their last year at their D1 AA or whatever they were at the time. For them to have transitioned, that was only 2 to 3 years ago. For them to have transitioned. Yeah, so then the transition so quickly. That's 2 years, 2023. So they came over, and in 2 years are in the top 25 or damn the top 25. They're in the college football playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I said it in my winners and losers this week. And Dion, you're right. Going back to our conversation. James Madison, they're so good for such a small school. Like I
They're good.
thought that and I've been watching college ball for a long time, but there's just a brief moment where you sit there and think like, wow, this team did just become an FBS program 2.5, maybe 3 years ago, and
Insanity.
they do, and they're dominant, like you said, at every schedule. So I said in my winners and losers, I said, listen, for them to have put James Madison into the college football playoff, I think the NCAA I think they're a project. I think James Madison could be a very big project for the NCAA in terms of, what can a school like this transition to? Can they become somebody as big as maybe even in Alabama or Oregon? Because they do dominate at every level that they play at. They did come into FBS and it just didn't skip a beat whatsoever. Maybe they didn't play the toughest schedule this year. I think we're going to see. I think the NCAA, somebody out there was like, hey, let's give James Madison a shot, see what they do, see if we can turn this program into a program like Boise State. And I
Mm-hmm.
adamantly believe this. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, they do so well. I mean, why not? We've
Keep
got
the stretchers on the
donated
sideline.
$1 million to what is it, Mike? Texas Rio Grande. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
no, I mean, just millions of dollars are being. I mean, look at Colorado State. I mean, and why
Yeah.
Florida went over there, Colorado State wants to buy and build a program as well. So, just a theory. It's a thesis and a thought process in my head that it may not be valid or relevant, but I do think that they're trying something special here with James Madison. I feel like James Madison they've got something that somebody wants. I don't know.
Absolutely. And one of the things JMU they're going to have to channel this week or next weekend, excuse me, if they want to beat Oregon at Oregon. 2010, JMU walked into Blacksburg, Virginia, the number 15th ranked Hokies, and upset them 21-16. So they have big wins in their history. Do you know who was the quarterback for that Virginia Tech team?
Who?
2016.
2010. If I said 2016, my bad. I think I said 21-16 was the final
Yeah,
score.
you did the 2010. Who? Virginia Tech's quarterback. Virginia Tech did have a quarterback not too long ago that came out that we were all impressed. Who was that quarterback there?
Any guesses before I reveal?
Yeah, Logan.
Mm,
Logan Thomas? No.
No,
Tyrod Taylor.
no,
Tyrod Taylor. So yes, and he was a beast. That year they lost to JMU,
wow.
and then they went on to win their next 11 games. So it kind of sparked something out of them. And then Virginia Tech went on to get their asses kicked by Stanford in the Orange Bowl. But
Wow.
yeah, so JMU is going to have to pull some sort of upset out like that. Moving
I have
on
JMU
to
getting beat by 21.
okay, so they cover, right, Knock?
The
Are they
spread's
24?
48.5, so actually they wouldn't cover if they lost by
Fuck.
21. But
I got you. I thought you said 24 and a half. I haven't really looked at the lines, but I will be here shortly. Moving on to just another game here to talk about real quick. One of you guys could start, but Miami going to Texas A&M, a very, very tough environment down there in Aggie land. I'm kind of excited to see what Miami team shows up and if they have a little bit of like a chip on their shoulder from just squeaking in. Because I'll tell you one thing is Marcel Reed, towards the end of the season, did look like he could be beat. He looked shaky, and Miami's front four, that defensive line, nothing to be played with, and they have maybe the best player in the game with the true
That's
freshman Tony.
Malik Tony.
Tony,
Or
yes,
Malachi
he's a
Tony.
beast.
Malachi Tony.
Malachi Tony is a beast. That dude is fun as hell to watch. I can't believe he has to play
Shout
2 more
out,
years
shout
in
out
college
Florida
football.
football, American heritage, baby. Shout out Florida high school football, baby. Best in the nation. Best in the nation. Just to leave it out there. Go ahead, knock dive in just because I'm gonna be quick and brief, but I'm gonna cut them like butter with this one.
yeah, I know I was gonna let you go first because I know this one is something that you're excited about. You have your little gripes with this specific matchup.
I'll give it to him real quick then. Hey, listen,
Go ahead.
make it real quick. My favorite team in college football right now, Texas A&M, as long as my quarterback can play at the capacity I know he can. If he can, he could beat anybody. He has the best defense in the nation behind him with that front line, in my opinion. They are dominant and they will win games. I'll tell you what really made me a believer in them. When they were down 31-3 at halftime and came back and won 38-31. That is something special. And they played a South Carolina team that didn't have good wins, but had tough games this year, that played well in some tough games. I'll tell you what, to be down like that, show me who you are. I've already had past moments to where the quarterback stole money off me last year against LSU. I'm a believer in them. Miami's gonna walk their ass down to Texas A&M and get their ass dumped. And I'm a Miami fan. This is Miami's known for this, right? This is what they got banned. This is what the hell is happening to Miami. Take Texas A&M. I'll put the house on it.
Yeah, Deion.
I'll put the house on it. And Carson Beck is a folder. And that's all I got to say about it.
Yeah, Mike and I definitely have our gripes with Carson Beck. And
Yeah.
this guy, I mean, he's not bad, but he's not great. He's not mobile, which sucks, right? I'm a traditional pocket passer guy, but we live in a day and age in a generation where you got to be able to run around a little bit, move.
And he's not even that great in the pocket.
No, he makes very poor decisions from time to time, but he's got the ability. I mean, he's got the natural throwing ability. He can make all the throws.
He's 36, so
he's an older guy. Yeah,
he's an old man.
So you expect him to play at a different type of consistency level, if you will. You know what I mean? And there's been moments there for Carson Beck this season where he's just looked really, really bad. But it's really just because he's had one or two chunk bad games. I think he threw 4 interceptions against Florida State, and they ended up winning, or he threw 4 interceptions in a loss earlier this year, if I'm not mistaken.
SMU. Was it SMU? No, it might have been Louisville. I know both of those games he threw multiple picks.
I didn't really dive in, if I'm going to be honest. I was very unimpressed with Carson Beck. I stayed away from Miami this year, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, he had 4 interceptions against Louisville, and then in their loss against SMU, he had 2.
Right. And
okay, so right there, my opinion, all his big games that he's played, not all his big games, he played Notre Dame and whatnot, but the games that were win or go home, you're having a bad moment. He's never rose. He hasn't risen to the occasion. He's played with a phenomenal Georgia team on his back every other year with a great defense. So he never had to rise to the occasion per se of what we say. Like, I have to see something.
Yeah, totally. I mean, there's no question in my mind. Like, personally, Marcel Reed's a much better quarterback on the other side. Mm-hmm. And A&M has been great this year. They have
my favorite team in college.
So they're explosive. They've got Casey Concepcion on offense as a wide receiver and things of that nature. It'll be a good matchup. I think both defensive lines are extremely tough. I think this is going to be a little bit lower scoring of a matchup than we may perceive.
I think Texas A&M opens the door. I think it looks close for a minute. It looks like a track meet for a second, and I think Texas A&M opens the door.
Okay.
I do think this turns into a track meet, but I think that Texas A&M going to run them off the table.
Yeah, Texas A&M can score. We do have 2 very good defenses that are going up against each other. Very, very strong majority up front. Right. Cassius Howell for Texas A&M. He's been a beast, 11.5 sacks. And then you got Akeem Moisder for Miami, who leads the team with, I believe, 7 sacks and 12 tackles for loss. So it's going to be a fun
12 tackles for loss is just monstrous. That's a man amongst boys. Like, when you're dominating the line of scrimmage like that, that just tells you that, like, I'm here to win football games. That's all. Yeah. That's all you can say about him. That's a first-round draft pick for you right there.
Yeah, and just moving on then too, I think the most up in the air game right now, at least I'm feeling that way. I don't know how you guys are, but Alabama traveling to Norman, Oklahoma for the rematch. I really don't know what to think of this game. Alabama's looked pretty bad, more specifically on offense the past couple of weeks. And then Oklahoma is just like, they started out so good, and then Mateer goes down with that injury. They rush him back, and he's kind of looked a little bit off as well too. Yeah, so I think it's going to be. I think I could see this game definitely being an under. Oklahoma's defense, Knock and I talked about it basically all year. Like that is their strong point.
Fingers
RM
crossed.
Mason is a beast. I love him. He plays the game the way that I love to see it be played, just nasty and physical. And I really don't know who the hell I would pick in this game. I definitely like the under for sure.
Well, I'm going to go back to a point that Deion said earlier, and it was, when they first played, Ty Simpson, he threw four interceptions.
No, he didn't throw four. I think they had two fumbles. I think he threw two picks and a fumble,
Okay.
and Ryan Williams fumbled a punt return in the red zone.
Right. Okay, understood. Yep, totally right. So three turnovers.
But he hadn't had a. But mind you, he didn't throw a turnover all season that year. Might only had one pick on the season at that point of the year. To where
Right, and again, I'm gonna lock in and agree with you on that. It's just my theory, Mike. It's hard to beat a team twice, and I just don't think Alabama they're not gonna make those same mistakes again with an opportunity here. So they go back into Norman. You said right?
yeah,
And it was played at Tuscaloosa the first
yeah.
time.
Okay. So they go into Norman. Okay, so it's gonna be a tough environment. One thing we know about both of these teams is, offensively, Oklahoma's been struggling, but Alabama doesn't have a running game. So it can come down to the legs of John Mateer. You know what, Mike? I kind of like the under. I think I'm going to ride out with you on the under for this one, for sure. But I do like Alabama to win, but I'm going to take you.
I'm surprised with you two. Because in my opinion right now, Alabama is the underdog of the college football playoffs right now. And for you two to go against the underdog surprises me. Now, I'm going to tell you this, in my opinion. Skill level wise, wins wise, and everything like that, Oklahoma does deserve to be here. I don't know if they deserve to host a home game, but who the hell am I? But they deserve to be in the playoffs. Oklahoma, if we talk about the Power 5 teams, take JMU and Tulane out of it, my opinion, Oklahoma's one of the worst teams in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't think they're about to get run. They're about to get wrung out like a bat. But I'll tell you this. I thought that quarterback for Alabama was somebody he's not. When the lights come on, he's scared. So I'll say this. I like Alabama in this game 10 times 10. If it comes to a close game, I don't think he's built for it.
I don't know. I don't know about that, Deion. I was looking at his stat log just from whenever Knox said the four interceptions, but just maybe think about this for a second. So I'll take you through some of the big games that they won in his stats. So at Georgia, they won 24-21. He threw for 276 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks.
He went crazy at Georgia. He went crazy.
Just wait, there's more. There's more.
That's why I was so surprised.
At Vandy, they won that game. 340 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick.
Vandy's defense is terrible.
Mizzou, they didn't really have to. It was a weird game. He threw for 200 yards, but 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Tennessee, 253, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And then Oklahoma, he threw the 1 pick, but he still threw for 326 yards and 1 touchdown as well, too.
Oh, if you go against the offensive, like, it was insane. Offensive possessions, offensive passing, all that was nuts. Do me a favor before you stop, though. I seen something switch on him after that Oklahoma game. Give me his stats after that game.
Yeah, so this is where it does get gritty. And I'll say one thing after this, too. So you're right. So the next game against Eastern Illinois, granted, I think he only played a half maybe, but this is really ugly. 147 yards, 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. Auburn, 122 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. And then Georgia, 212 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception.
I seen when he lost that game, I watched the franticness in him. And this is going to be really like, who the hell does he think he is talking about me? But there's a competitiveness in all of us that have actually been on that field and competed. And we can see when a certain competition in somebody's eyes is getting glazed over or if they're scared and running from something. I watched that Oklahoma game, his heart get robbed out of him. And I watched big moments, him get to crumbling. And not just, see, you can make bad plays and not have turnovers and just dumb things. You heard it here first. If it comes to a close game, he folds. If they can open the lead, he's good. They don't go 2 rounds though. They get knocked off in the second round. That's all I got for that game.
Yeah, I think one of the things that they're going to have to do to help him out, because we saw it against Auburn and then we saw it against Georgia, is they got to find their running game early and often to kind of help relieve some of the pressure. Because I think majority of his games he's thrown over 30 passes. He's thrown one, two, three, almost 4 games with 40 passes, and they need to, I think, have more of a balanced game here. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't know if Jam Miller, if he's going to play. I know he didn't play in the SEC championship. I don't think he's been dealing with an injury, so they could get him back. Could help, but you're only as good as your offensive line will take you. So the O line's going to have to play a lot better outside of Proctor, that enormous left tackle who's a beast.
Beast.
Yeah, I'm so glad you pointed that out too, Mike, because when you're looking at Ty Simpson's stats, and I think something I want to build on what Deion was saying is like, yeah, there are times where you can, almost it seems like you have a flawless game, you 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's been sacked 25 times this year. So is it an issue with the offensive line? Because Oklahoma does have a very stellar defense. We're talking about top 10 in the nation here. And I'm being generous. They should be a little higher, but I don't have those numbers right in front of me. Or is it Ty Simpson not making the reads, holding the ball too long? Maybe that pressure from the defensive line, he's got sacked 25 times. That doesn't, specify how many times he's been rushed. So,
special guest, guys.
Special guest. But yeah, so I think the kid's good. I think he's got talent. I love his arm talent. I think he can make all the throws. I think he's good. Deion, you might be right. Is he holding the ball too long? Is he not seeing the defense? Is he not seeing the field, which is causing some of those mistakes that make him look a little hesitant out there? So I think that matters, and I think if Alabama's line blocks for him, I think they win.
If this is college football, I'm not getting sacked 25 times. I'd turn into Johnny Manziel. This is college football. You would just see me turn into Lamar Jackson out there.
I respect it. But yeah, I think that's basically all I have now. We covered a lot today. Anything else that you guys have real quick?
No, I don't think so. I think for the most part, I'm very excited for this playoffs. I'm very excited to see how the underdogs do, man. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I hope they get pelted so that the college committee can actually make a decision to put the top 12 teams in there, and then we can make an argument for one of them.
Right. Well, I know it'll always be at least one power conference unless they do something
okay
different. It'll be the highest, yeah, which I'm still good with as well too. Because at the end of the day, like you said, you have to beat the teams that you play, and if you're not beating the Power 5 teams or whatever, then why should they get in there?
Before we leave, real quick, do you remember when Manti Te'o was playing with Notre Dame? Do you feel like if they were not undefeated, they deserve to be in that national championship or even in the top 5? Especially with the way they got beat in the national championship?
What year was that? I got to look at their schedule.
10. No.
Just to make a point of, I don't care how great of a season these guys have. Come on, man. Are you really ready to play?
Yeah.
Let me take a look at their schedule here.
13,
sorry, I threw a monkey wrench in it before we closed out, but it just.
And this is why I respect Notre Dame. You know what I mean? They are independent. They are always bitching. I get it. But get in the conference. Look at who they played that year. All right, Navy. Okay. You start off the year with a bullshit game, right? Purdue. Okay. Number 10, Michigan State.
Michigan State was good back then.
Number 18, Michigan.
Okay.
Right. Miami wasn't who they were, so they smoked.
But Miami is still a respectable game.
Stanford, ranked team at that time. Oklahoma,
Andrew Luck.
They beat ranked team at that time. They go into USC. They beat Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? So, like, that team.
With 2 losses, if they had that schedule this year and had them same 2 losses, they deserve in the playoffs. That's what I'm getting to. That was a top schedule.
Right, but just hear me out. Now, if
they ass beat by Alabama, but
you take a look at Notre Dame's schedule this year, And it's
staying
not
in
very
Miami.
good. It's not strong. It's not strong. Before we leave, Notre Dame's schedule, it's not strong this year. You know, they played Miami, they played A&M, Purdue, Arkansas, Boise, NC State, USC. Navy ended up being a good team this year. Pitt, Syracuse, Stanford. I get it. I get it. Syracuse, Stanford, not very good. Boston College, not good. NC State, Arkansas, armpit of the SEC. But coming into the season, that's a tough schedule, bro. I mean, it's
I
not
get
like
you.
these guys are out here scheduling fucking Mercer. You know, these guys are.
And the schedules are made a while ago too.
What'd you
Like
say?
this is like I'm pretty sure Notre Dame doesn't schedule like year to year. I think it's like kind of like how out of conference games are, where they're setting it up years in advance. So you never know
That's
what's going to
their
happen with
and
these teams.
that's the problem. That's their problem. That's their fault right there. I'm glad you said that, Mike, because how you gotta expect some dumb shit to happen to you if you do stupid shit like that.
Hmm. Yep. Yep. Well, I think with that, fellas, we could lay
I
our head to
appreciate you having
rest.
me.
Dion, we appreciate you for hopping on here, brother, and giving your input and your emotion. We love it. We'll definitely have you back on
Bring
as
me
well,
back,
too, bro.
man.
For
Bring me
sure, for
back,
sure.
man.
But
Hey, put your
um,
money on Texas A&M and put all the money on Alabama. You heard what I said. Those two are my picks, baby. When you come back and got your bread up, let me know because all
hey.
my money will be on it. So we'll be broke together. We'll be broke or
All right.
rich together.
All right. Well, you heard him. Make sure you go follow us on all platforms at Sports with Skiz, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. Go subscribe to our YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and we'll talk to you boys again soon. And ladies, sorry.